Every tanker has their favorite vehicle, or even several vehicles. Their first Tier 10, a legendary tank from museums and historical movies. A vehicle they won an incredible battle with. You've fought hundreds or even thousands of battles. Your vehicle is fully decorated with progressive decals, but you still enjoy playing it like it was the first time. And here's the thing, even your favorite tank sometimes lets you down. Maybe its speed is too low, its aiming time too long, or reload too slow. Of course, you can mount equipment and select directives, but you want to fine-tune your favorite vehicle to make it truly yours. Not like others. Like a real car. Steering wheel cover, window curtains, you can go even farther. Chip-tune the engine and enhance the gearbox. Then the car will meet all your expectations. It's a pity you can't do the same in the game. Or can you? Field modification testing will soon start on the Sandbox server. This completely new mechanic will allow you to fine-tune the characteristics of your favorite vehicles. You can adjust their combat capabilities to fit the battle conditions and your personal preferences. In a nutshell, you can inject new life into them. This is not changing the vehicle role on the battlefield. This is a tuning of specific characteristics that are personally important to you. The Sandbox test server is an excellent way to check how an idea performs in combat conditions, to identify ambiguous aspects of the idea, and to adjust it to meet the player's needs. Field Modification is available to all Tier 6 to Tier 10 vehicles, except for rental vehicles and vehicles for special game events. It unlocks right after the vehicle receives Elite status. Field Modification includes 3 types of modifications: Standard, Dual, and Special. They form a modification tree that differs depending on the vehicle tier and battlefield role. The higher the tier, the more modifications available. Tier 10 vehicles have available the maximum number of modifications. You already know vehicle roles from ranked battles, although they will slightly differ in this case. The modification tree will take roles into consideration. For example, the modifications for the Mouse and T-57 Heavy provide different bonuses because their combat use is different. Standard modifications are unlocked when the field modification level is increased. They provide a small boost to one vehicle characteristic, depending on the role. For example, a heavy tank with such a modification has a few more hit points. After you receive standard modifications, you unlock dual modifications. They allow your vehicle's characteristics to be redistributed so that it becomes more effective in one aspect, although at the cost of another. Dual modifications do not stack and are always mirrored. For example, if one modification speeds up reload time but slows down aiming, the other has the opposite effect. It improves aiming but slows down reload time. You can choose only one of 2 dual modifications. Once one is selected, the other becomes unavailable. However, you can always change your mind and switch to the other modification. Or you can choose neither of the 2. If it is cancelled, the dual modification is not saved. It will need to be repurchased. Special modifications comprise the final group. There are 3 of them, and each provides tools that will prove useful to many players. The first modification enables the Essentials loadout, which is an additional set of consumables and ammo to take into battle. It doesn't replace your main set, but rather it unlocks new opportunities. When you join a battle and evaluate the balance of forces, you can select one of 2 vehicle loadouts before the battle starts. This will help you adjust to the conditions of the upcoming battle. The second special modification expands these opportunities by enabling a set of equipment and directives called the Auxiliary Loadout. If you install an element that is also in your main loadout, it doesn't require additional expenses. You can mount one equipment item into both sets for one vehicle. It will enable the creation of different loadout options for one vehicle while allowing you to select the most suitable one in a matter of seconds. Also, the essentials and auxiliary loadouts can be selected independently from each other. The third special modification allows you to assign a category to a second equipment slot. This is an additional option that helps you fine-tune your vehicle for yourself. You can choose one of two recommended options. The category differs from the first slot and matches the vehicle role in accordance with its battlefield objectives. For example, tanks with strong armor, in addition to better durability, can also increase their firepower or mobility. Medium tanks will enjoy not only a bonus to mobility, but also to durability or spotting. Equipment mounted in the second slot, if it matches the category, will provide an increased effect, just like equipment in the first slot. Later, at any time, you may change your mind and select a different category for the second slot. Research, purchases, and other operations involving modifications require experience and credits. During Sandbox testing, the economy will be demonstrative. The values are not final and will be set once the idea is evaluated in collaboration with players and a decision about its future is made. It's also important to note that the Dynamic Characteristics panel has not yet been adjusted for field modifications. A field modification is an excellent way to make your favorite vehicle even more enjoyable for you, while sacrificing less important characteristics. Does your IS-4 traverse slowly? You can make it a little more maneuverable. Do you want your Object 268 to occupy advantageous positions faster? This is possible. Do you want to improve the Leopard 1's accuracy a bit to highlight its sniper potential? You can simply select a corresponding dual modification. Of course, you'll have to sacrifice something in each of these cases, but this is a fair price for fine-tuning the vehicle or for improving key vehicle characteristics and smoothing over flaws while considering your personal preferences and experience. Special modifications open a new dimension of tactical planning. It allows you to easily adapt to the fickleness of the matchmaker and prepare for any fight. You can prepare 2 sets of ammunition and consumables, then select the one you need depending on the map and position on the list. For example, you might not need a food consumable, large repair kit, and first aid kit every battle. You can save a little by selecting an automatic fire extinguisher and cheaper versions of the first aid kit and repair kit. Here's an even more specific example. Say you're in a light tank on Malinovka. You might have the standard equipment set with coated optics, improved ventilation, and gun rammer. But you might select an alternate configuration for passive scouting, binocular telescope, commander's vision system, and camouflage net. With such equipment, you can spot even more while hiding in the bushes, instead of driving around and dodging enemy shells. Here's another example. You're in a Type 5 Heavy on Himmelsdorf. It has the typical equipment for countering high explosive artillery shells, gun rammer, improved hardening, and spall liner. But the latter is not as relevant since you don't need additional protection from artillery on this map. That's why you can safely choose a loadout where you have an enhanced gun laying drive instead of a spall liner. Proper shooting is more important than protection in this case. Things get even more interesting with versatile medium tanks. The Object 140 can play differently on different maps, but one set of equipment for all occasions restricts its potential. However, with 2 loadouts available, the Object 140 becomes more flexible. On small city maps, you can do without coated optics and mount something to improve your firepower. Or you can improve your view range at the cost of shooting comfort on open maps. And there are several such examples for each vehicle. Everything depends on your position on the player list, maps, enemy lineup, and even game mode. The option of selecting a loadout during the countdown to adjust to the situation will make your life in battle easier, and perhaps play a crucial role in the battle outcome. And having a choice is always better than not having it. A field modification is a fine-tuning of your favorite vehicles and an excellent tool to adjust to unpredictable matchmaking conditions. The new system won't turn your tank into a super vehicle, but it will make playing it even more enjoyable. You can test field modifications on the Sandbox server. The future of this feature depends on you. Active participants will be rewarded for testing. Join the Sandbox. Set up your favorite tanks. adapt to the fickle conditions of random battles, and share your feedback about field modifications in World of Tanks. Good luck on the battlefield.